This roof's getting installed with our premium roofing system. Backed by our 50-year warranty. And there's a 0% financing, no payment for 6 months options that this customer utilized. If you're looking for a new roof and you need an affordable option, call Absolute Restoration.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Got me there. Okay, good Saturday evening and welcome into Mississippi Live Weather at 10. I'm meteorologist Gabe Maynor and I'm going to start out with an apology. I feel like I might have jinxed the game for Mississippi State and I feel really guilty about it because I was talking with extreme confidence at 6 o'clock. And apparently 17 points is not enough to hold a lead in the fourth quarter. So shout out the Bulldogs. Hail State forever and always. All right, let's get back to the forecast. I wanted to address that first off the bat because I know some folks might have something to say after the smack I was talking at 6 o'clock. Okay, 10 o'clock, what are we discussing? Well, here in the Room to Room Weather Center, we'll be discussing a multitude of things. Main one being those soggy forecast for our Sunday. So as we take a look at that first headline, soggy Sunday in store for all of North Mississippi as our next frontal system works its way into the region. Isolated chances do continue into this week, but our widespread chances continue to be Sunday. Sunday, of course, the focal point. We might overlook those next couple of days. And what we're also going to be looking at is the way extended forecast, those latest Halloween conditions, what can you expect? And we have quite the treat for our trick-or-treaters out there. So we'll take a look at that in just a moment. Let's still focus on the here and now, and here and now is already busy enough. The first 12 has rain chances already in the forecast, working their way through the region. If you don't have rain right now, just wait. That's the motto heading into our Sunday. 40% by 11, 50% by 2, 60% by 5, and 70% by 8. Just that gradual increase overnight before we step out the door for our church services in the morning to a soggy forecast. Just buckle up. It's going to be busy as we head out the door. Cleveland right now getting some of those soggy conditions, a few showers in the area over there towards Cleveland, but this is just that first round that's working its way through the region. Our dew point's really high, and that's because of so much moisture in the air, but luckily no severe weather expected. This is just going to be a good dousing throughout our afternoon. Now, Starkville, traffic still busy, sky still busy as some rainfall works its way through the region, but I mean, just it might be rainfall at this point. It might also be the tears of some Bulldog fans, and mine included. It was, oh my word, it was heartbreaker. I cannot get over that. But anyway, folks traveling home tonight might need those windshield wipers on just as we're traveling through some scattered conditions. As you take a look right now, those bands continue to work their way across North Mississippi. That 1 hour loop shows how they're circulating across that focal point all the way back there towards Arkansas and Oklahoma. So that's where we're going to continue to get these bands working their way across the region. You kind of get a good visual on these. We drew them out earlier tonight at the 6 o'clock show, but you get this band, you get this band, you get this band. All of these just going to be this linear segment working its way through the region. So you basically get showers, then get a break. Get showers, then get a break. But our focal point continues to be out here towards the Mississippi River where we're getting our highest rainfall outputs. So that's the area to expect as that low works its way closer because as you can see, these bands are much closer together. So we're going to get higher rainfall outputs as a result. So if we keep working through those rainfall totals, I mean, you can kind of see how things have been today. Already a pretty dreary forecast. Highlighting in a few of those totals. Let me get back on this home view real quick. We can see I do see one yellow spot, and I was able to get it. 1.5 inches right there in Bruce and Calhoun County. Oxford about 1.5 inches, and that's probably the tears of Boomer Sooner fans. Big shout out to Ole Miss taking home the W today, big for them. And if we keep highlighting in a few of these areas over in Clay County, an inch, Webster County, an inch, Oktibbeha County, about 1/2 inch as well. Let's go ahead and go up there towards that Memphis radar site to get some of these northwest totals as we'll get a better view up there. And you can see several areas talking an inch plus there towards Tunica County and all the way into DeSoto County. Just a good Saturday shower. Exactly what we need to break some of those drought conditions, and those will continue into our Sunday as well. Very excited to see the drought monitor come Thursday because these rain chances, this is what makes the difference on that drought monitor, and I expect that to be a drastic difference in the most positive way possible as we get into the rest of our forecast. So there's your low that continues to develop, but I want to say we do have a weakening low that's still up there towards Oklahoma. If we get the focal point of this, There it is right there, still just around the Oklahoma City region, wrapping around some of that moisture, and that's where we're getting these bands of rainfall. So we still have this warm front extending off of it. Let me kind of draw that, use my artistic ability, not exactly the best. And we also have this cold front that's still attached somewhat. I mean, this is definitely a weaker system than what we once had. So this is basically the atmospheric setup that we have right now. This low working its way east, but that's going to dissipate out. And then this secondary low that's developing on the south end of the first low, that's what's really going to drive our forecast moving forward. So let's go ahead and take it into Futurecast to walk through that analysis in a little bit more detail. So you can still have that visual on what's left there in Oklahoma, but you already have an unstable environment with some of those showers and storms forming. So when you add that secondary low to the equation, I mean, it's just able to eat already, or should I say, what's the word I'm looking for? Feast. We're close to Thanksgiving. Feast on basically a buffet of moisture. So we keep that going into our Sunday morning, and I'll zoom it back in here to get a better visual on the Twin States right here, but you can already see, or at least get a general idea of how much rainfall we're going to be getting. Lots of showers, lots of storms down there towards Jackson. We are looking at a severe weather threat primarily around the southwest portion of our viewing area, so that's going to be, not viewing area, Mississippi. That's going to be right here just southwest of Jackson. So not expecting that up here in North Mississippi, but still the threat for thunderstorms is in the forecast. Just don't be alarmed if you hear a couple rumbles of thunder. It's not going to be anything too major. So Sunday morning, just remaining soggy, remaining dreary. It's honestly exactly what we need to break the drought. It's just unfortunate that it's the weekend before Halloween, right? We have several events planned. My church, as I've been mentioning, has a trunk or treat for Sunday afternoon. We've already moved that into the activity center, so we've made our plan B, and hopefully you guys do as well as you get into that Sunday afternoon forecast. The difference, though, late into the afternoon, we do have a resurgence of moisture. That's where rain chances have been upped. We can kind of get a visual of that here in the next 24, as you can see behind me. 70% for the start, dropping off to about 40% by the afternoon. I say dropping off, that's of course relatively speaking, 40% is still a good amount of coverage. But then we up it to 50, potentially even 60% into those late afternoon, early evening time frames. So if you prayed for rain, well then your prayers got answered because Sunday is filled with it all the way around. Go ahead and lay out the rain boots, lay out the rain jacket. Don't care too much about that Sunday outfit because it probably won't be seen with all the cover you'll have to stay dry. So coming up in 60 seconds, we have a full look at that rainfall forecast primarily here in North Mississippi. We're also looking at how much rainfall to expect. Also, Halloween, only about 6 days away at this point, and we have the latest forecast for you of what to expect if you are a trick-or-treater wanting to plan that costume out a little bit in advance. Stay tuned for Mississippi Live Weather at 10 here in the next 60 live from the Room to Room Weather Center.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Laupon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Laupon has proven himself trustworthy.
Right now, from the Mississippi Live Weather Center, here's meteorologist Gabe Maynor.
Well, a beautiful night across the region, but you can see stratus clouds blanketing the sky. That's been the main story throughout our evening. Whether it's been filled with rain chances or not, it's not exactly looked the best up there. Definitely not those blue skies we've been getting. 63 degrees in Clarksdale right now. Very scattered showers across the region there in northwest Mississippi. So that's what we're going to be dealing with overnight, but those chances becoming more widespread as we push into those early AM hours as well. 8 to 10, 68 degrees. Starkville, like I mentioned, not exactly a good scene right now. Definitely want to avoid Starkville because There are some people going through some painful experiences right now, and this bulldog included. 55 degrees right now. Dew point actually pretty low in the grand scheme of things, showing you that it's a little bit drier, but once those showers work their way into the region, then those dew points will rise as a result. So enjoy a soggy Sunday, all things considered. Getting a look there in Saltillo, Highway 45 flowing pretty smoothly. I only see 1-2 cars out there on those roadways, and so if you're looking to get out this evening, not dealing with too much traffic, but some slick conditions. You can see a little bit of that in the reflection of the light. And same thing as this car is driving up. You can see some puddling there on the sideways. 61 degrees right now, but like I mentioned, that soggy forecast really going to ramp up in that extended forecast. I found it hilarious because I texted my wife and I was like, hey, if it doesn't rain by 6 o'clock, can you water the plants? Because of course we have a garden. And she said, yeah, of course. So it hit about 5:30 or so. And she called me, she's like, is it gonna rain? And sure enough, she walked outside, started sprinkling a little bit. So just wait a couple of hours and that rain will move in, I assure you of that, especially into our Sunday forecast where those rain chances really start to ramp up. So where we sit right now, scattered rain chances across North Mississippi, primarily north of Highway 82 right now. Now that will start to shift. If we go on our national radar right now, we can get a visual on that. I mean, we're going to call it a batch, or you can call it a cluster. You can call it whatever you want, all the way from Bryan, Texas to Alexandria, Louisiana. This widespread batch of showers and thunderstorms will move into the region, going in that northeast track right here to North Mississippi, giving us exactly what we need. Maybe the time frame not working out, but it is still what we need. Let's bring it back here to North Mississippi, and I'm going to take it back to our local radar site. We're going to look out of Memphis first because I want to look at a product that we call, what is it? Rain rate. And rain rate basically showing you how much that rain is falling. And we're going to go back over the last 30 minutes or so because earlier on, I want to say that we were getting some decent outputs. Might need to go 2 hours right here. Right there. So as you see towards Senatobia and Sardis, just on the northwest side of Panola County, we were getting some outputs of, let me see if I'm able to highlight this and showcase that a little bit. 4.7 inches an hour. So brief heavy downpours, a realistic possibility, causing some localized flash flooding. So don't be surprised if that is something you experience in that extended forecast, but not going to get any severe weather. And that is the good thing with this forecast, exactly what we need. Severe weather is possible, but not in North Mississippi. If I zoom things out once again and really zoom things out, you can see that Saturday severe weather threat primarily going to be southwest Mississippi as that frontal system works its way into the Magnolia State. But moving into our Sunday forecast, that level 1 threat still remains south of Meridian, south of I-20. So far enough away from us to where we can say there's not any instability in the environment that's going to produce any of those strong storms. So that is a fortunate thing. And if we bring it back here to North Mississippi with that severe weather threat in place in the Magnolia State, granted not being here, we can kind of see that with our severe weather threats whenever we're not getting any of this shear, any of this hail. We're not talking anything severe or strong. This is just going to be some brief heavy downpours. And I believe we can populate this in as well to showcase some of that. 0.8 inches an hour in some spots. If we keep that going there towards Marshall County, same thing. And I'm going to change radar sites over to the local one in Monroe County. And if we bring it back here to North Mississippi, not nearly as much activity as what they're getting up north, but still a few isolated showers all the way down here towards Choctaw County, Oktibbeha County, even some in Noxubee County. So can't complain about that. If you've been wanting rainfall, which I know a lot of folks have and needed rainfall, well then this is definitely the forecast for you. If we take a look at that day planner, you can kind of see those rain chances building throughout the night, 40% by midnight, 60% by 3, and 70% early on our Sunday morning. So heading out the door, more likely than not, if you're one of the dry ones, you're pretty fortunate, but more likely than not, need that rain gear as we head out the door. Luckily, with all the moisture in place, temperatures only around the upper 50s getting out the door. But let's go ahead and track out Futurecast. And as you can see right here, a lot of activity out there towards the Mississippi River. That's really going to be our strongest outputs right here with our strongest rainfall rates, maybe even a few rumbles of thunder. East of 55, we're primarily talking about some light to moderate showers. Let's keep that going into those overnight hours, and this will be pushing more into our 5 and 6 o'clock hour. You can see the cluster already moving into the forecast, 6 a.m., widespread showers, widespread moderate to heavy showers at that, and even a few rumbles of thunder there towards Hollandale and Eudora. So we are tracking a lot of activity throughout the start of our forecast to our Sunday, but luckily nothing severe. And that's exactly what we want when it comes to this forecast. Low temperatures with all of that moisture in place. I mean, this is very unseasonable for this time of year. We're talking 55 Amory, 53 Iuka, 54 Grenada, and 56 around South Haven. Greenville, 61 degrees. My word, let's cool off a little bit. Futurecast continues throughout our Sunday, and you can see just how long those showers remain in the area. Expanding things out, you can still see some remnants of that low out there towards Kansas and Missouri, but that low towards the south, that's going to be the one that takes over all of that moisture, and that's why that warm front interacting with a lot of the moisture that's already in place, allowing for these widespread showers to happen, and some of those being on the stronger side all the way out there towards Louisiana and southern Mississippi. So tracking that throughout our Sunday, but again, not going to be north of I-20, north of there. We're staying just on the wet side of things. So Sunday, 9 a.m., moderate showers all across the region, as close as you can say to 90 to 100% at this point as it works its way through the northern half of the Magnolia State. 10:30 still dealing with those moderate showers. And as we get into that noon hour, a lot of that activity shifts to the east side of 45, and that's where we expect those chances to remain in place. But just wait. And this is where our latest model run showing us some additional development beyond that main system. So throughout the afternoon, we were saying it was becoming a little bit more scattered. Well, we can see that. Rain chance is not exactly going to be widespread throughout that 2 and 3 o'clock hour, but this band, this warm front, already working its way into the region, already becoming a little bit more widespread as a result. Take a look at those rain chances. 6 p.m., that's why we upped it to about 60%. Wouldn't be surprised if we go to 70, possibly 80% beyond that point, and that's really going to be the result of that warm front reaching as far north into southern half of our viewing area, and then a few of those having some rumbles of thunder as well. No severe weather is expected. I want to emphasize that again, but brief heavy downpours, especially with an already saturated forecast. I mean, down in Louisville, down in Kosciuszko, Chula, Hollandale, we could be looking at some flash flooding potential for you guys, and those flood prone areas that are typically expectant of it, go ahead and be ready, because this is the type of forecast where we'd get exactly that. So high temperatures on your Sunday, currently tracking the low to mid 60s across the region, with the low 70s all the way in Hollandale and Belzona and Greenville. Now, the big factor in all of this is a lot of that moisture going to limit how much we do heat up. So 70s in the forecast. I wouldn't say that we reach all the way into those 70s just because it is still a very wet forecast. 9 p.m. on your Sunday, if we expand things out once again, you can see that system starting to recirculate in some of that moisture here towards our viewing area by 9 a.m., keeping that forecast going overnight. Pushes a lot of that moisture, but you can really see that low taking over as we start to wrap around once again with that counterclockwise motion. So this will be midnight, pushing into your Monday morning, and as a result of that low starting to take over this system, we can see that some wraparound moisture is a realistic possibility. So rain chances still remaining north of Highway 6 and east of Highway 45. If we carry that over into our Monday morning, there's that counterclockwise motion starting to redevelop some showers out here towards Memphis and down there towards Greenville. Now these are going to be much light, maybe moderate rainfall, but definitely not like what we'll see for our Sunday, so rain chances diminish greatly. We're only talking about 20% with very isolated development possible as that low wraps around some of that moisture there towards our Monday afternoon. So keep the rain gear around, to say the least. That's what the summary of this story is, as we want to stay as dry as possible throughout this forecast. High temperatures for your Monday: 66 Tunica, 70 Greenwood, 67 Bruce, and 62 around Red Bay. And as we look at some of our rainfall totals, this really gives us a perspective of what to expect. Keep in mind, those reds, 4 inches, yellows, 2 inches, greens, about half an inch or more, purples, 6 inches or more. So don't pay attention to just the numbers. Pay attention to those stripes that will develop, showing the potential of how much rainfall we're going to get. If we carry that forecast into our noon hour on our Sunday, still looking at the highest rainfall outputs along the Mississippi River, close to 4 inches there towards Cleveland. Pushing more into the afternoon, you can see some of those start to increase just a bit. But east of 55, we're not talking about extensive rainfall. It will stick around throughout the day, but we're only talking half an inch over time. With how much time we're going to devote to those rain showers, that's not exactly a high output. So very light showers moving into the area, but let's keep that forecast going. 7 p.m. Cleveland, 5 inches at this point. Greenville, 2.7. Clarksdale, 4.1. Watching the potential for some flash flooding out here, because there's not exactly going to be a drying element, as the sun won't be showing out anytime soon. So if we keep that forecast going into our 9 and 10 o'clock hour, those red stripes primarily going to be west of 55, but getting up to an inch out here towards Highway 45. So folks out here that need some rainfall, definitely a good sign for all of us here in the north half of the Magnolia State. Definitely what we need for our forecast. And as that front continues to work its way on through, a lot of folks getting that additional rainfall heading into those overnight hours and for the start of our Monday. So trunk or treat. I know that my church is having this tomorrow. We've already made plans, like I said, to move those plans indoors. And I hope a lot of other churches follow suit as well, because we don't want to get caught in the literal mud in this forecast. 70% by 7, 50% by 12, 40% by 3, and 60% by 7. Temperature-wise, pretty uniform throughout the day. 57 climbing to about 64 degrees by the afternoon, so not too shabby in that part. But if we look ahead, there is something to look forward to. There's definitely a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's ironic that it's on Halloween, our spookiest holiday, giving us the best weather. 7 a.m., 40 degrees, 58 there by noon, 62 by 3 p.m., and 51 by 7. Now, beyond that, if you're one of those late-night trick-or-treaters, that temperature right there with the low 50s, going to be dropping way, way more. And you'll see that here in just a moment with our 7-day. But buckle up, my word, it is going to be a chilly forecast. So basically, let's go through the summary. Rainy weather for the next several days. Sunday being our best threat for rainfall. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, very isolated rainfall, but still in the forecast. But Tuesday, the reason why it's 30%, that's our next frontal passage pushing into the region. Once that front fully clears, we drop our temperatures and drop indeed. As you can see with our low temperatures, 43 for the start of our Thursday, 39, yes, and that temperature is flexible, could go even lower than that for the start of our Halloween. So spooky forecast, starting with spooky temperatures. Spooky, cold, they work together. So trick-or-treating might need an extra layer, especially if you go later into the night. So make sure to prepare those costumes accordingly. Got a 6-day heads up. That's enough of time to get those costumes ready. Okay, so I was actually at an event today, and it was such a pleasure to be at this event, and I will, hang on one second. Okay, sweet. Sorry, I was checking chat real quick. So I was able to attend an event today. It was a NICU reunion, and it was such an honor to be a part of, and so grateful that they did it today when it was a drier forecast. We dodged all of the rainfall, but it was an absolute pleasure to be at. Let me pull that up for you guys so you can kind of see what I was able to see today. This is a look inside the North Mississippi Medical Center. Every miracle has a story. That was the theme for today. And as you can see, folks just out and about enjoying the bouncy houses, the live animals. I mean, yeah, I got to hold a goat today. Pretty cool. But each booth was actually themed after a childhood story. I mean, it makes sense. The theme was every miracle has a story. So there was Charlotte's Web. There was also Winnie the Pooh that you'll see later on, and Where the Wild Things Are. That was a cool paint station where you could basically paint, write your name, and you were one of the NICU graduates, their families, NICU graduates, and the staff all came to enjoy a day filled with celebration and connection. There's Winnie the Pooh right there, had Pooh in the background. So much fun, had to get a picture with them. There was also guest appearances that included Sheriff Jim Johnson, Chief John Quokka, and Mama Justice made an appearance as well. They asked all of us to come out and read to the kids, and I got to read about the Cat in the Hat and his exploring of the weather world. So such a fun thing to be a part of, and so grateful to attend such an honorable event. I mean, it was so much fun on top of the meaning behind it, and you can see how many folks came out to enjoy it. So if you missed it, well, you missed it. It was a good time. And there's always next year. This is an annual event, and so shout out to everyone involved and just North Mississippi Medical Center for doing such a good thing for the community and always remembering the good people behind, you know, those survivors, those graduates. It's just such a remarkable story. So to say I was a part of that, it was such an honor. So anyway, I will wrap up this forecast because I know it's gone a little bit longer, but I had to share that with you guys because it was so much fun this afternoon, and able to actually get outside for it was also a phenomenal part because heading on into the future, not exactly going to be an ideal situation. So as you can see behind me, lots of rainfall in the forecast. Day. Go ahead and download the app and you can track those rain chances yourself, but we'll also be live on your Sunday evening at 6 and 10 for the latest on those rain chances, and our morning show each weekday morning at 6:37 and 7:30, giving you the very latest on what to expect for the day ahead. I see some questions in chat. Traveling on I-40 into Memphis from Arkansas. Honestly, now, because you get the lightest of those showers, but throughout your Sunday, you're going to be dealing with that soggy weather. So honestly, any time throughout the day will be the exact same forecast. So no severe weather is expected. That's a good thing, but just be ready for some slick conditions. Drive a little bit slower and keep those windshield wipers going. So we thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. We hope that you guys have a fantastic forecast, even if your football games weren't that great. We'll see you back here tomorrow evening for the very latest on those rain chances. Have a fantastic Sunday. And of course, we'll see you back here on Mississippi Live Weather.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. But only you can prevent wildfires.
Being a parent, especially for the first time, with that comes a lot of self-doubt. As a dad, I just try to lead by example. When you're trying to be the best person that you can be, your kids see that and then they emulate that.